Hey, what's up, everybody, and welcome to this special video brought to you by the Nerd Cave Network. I am Derek, joined along with
Robbie Rawls.
Robbie. It's football season.
It is, thank God.
It's been a long off season.
6 months is too long to not have fantasy football or just football in general.
And that's what we're here to discuss. We're having the second annual Nerd Cave Network Fantasy Football League, and we thought we'd do a little special video.
Yeah, to give you a couple people who we think are sleepers and just give you, general fantasy news. So, I mean, we could start off with some injuries that we know. We know we have Mr. Foster is out for
at least the first 8 weeks of the season. He's probably going to go on the IR, designated to return.
They said 4 to 6 weeks in that area, but, I mean...
He's always been a slow healer, though.
He has been, and especially like these hamstring injuries, they're always rough to come back from. Then we have some crazy news coming out of Jets country. Geno Smith.
I'm sorry, I know it's not funny.
It's not, but you can't help to laugh because
it would only happen to the Jets.
How long have the Jets been a circus? For a while now. Geno Smith, starting quarterback for the Jets, got sucker punched
by one of his own teammates,
by the linebacker for their team. He's been released, but Geno will be out
6 to 10 weeks.
Yeah, so he's going to be out for a while, which if you guys are looking for a quarterback to get late in the draft that's going to have some incredible upside now, it's Ryan Fitzpatrick, the bearded wonder.
I've never been a Ryan Fitzpatrick hater. I mean, is he an elite quarterback?
No, but he's solid. He's going to get you 15 to 18 points in that area, especially now because they have Brandon Marshall. And Brandon Marshall's stock is also skyrocketed. So I would say buy into the quarterback or wide receiver tandem of Fitz-Marshall.
I like it.
Fitz-Marshall.
Hashtag Fitz-Marshall.
Fitz-Marshall. Like, thinking about Brandon Marshall when he went to the Jets, I was like, can Geno get him the ball? But I know Ryan Fitzpatrick can. Yes, he's always been kind of a interception thrower, but I mean, the past couple of years, he's actually gotten to where his ratio of touchdowns to interceptions are at a decent level. So,
yeah, I mean, if you're looking for somebody, if you're always the guy who takes a quarterback last and you wait super late, or if you draft a backup and you need someone as a bye week fill-in, I have no problem taking Ryan Fitzpatrick.
Oh, not at all. Obviously, Brady's going to be out for a little bit. I know. You got to watch out for those balls, man. They get you every time.
Always put enough air in your football. That's all I'm going to say.
But your boy Le'Veon got a couple days knocked off.
Yeah, originally he had a 3-game suspension, got it knocked down to 2. So that's what I figured was going to happen.
And a lot of people had, because of that extra game, they had him like as the number 2, maybe number 3 running back. But it's crazy, even with missing 2 games, he's listed as the number 1. Like I'm not a ranking slave or by the numbers type of guy, but I was listening to a podcast last night, and this guy laid out like a mathematical equation, which is getting way too in depth. But he's like, I got all his stats from last year and put into the equation for this year, and instead of 16 games, I divided it by 0.875, which lowered it down to 14. And even with doing that, all of his statistics were still number 1 in the league. So,
well, I mean, he's, to me, and I'm not saying this just because I'm a Steelers fan, but he's one of the premier running backs in the league.
Exactly.
He's a good runner. He's very patient, and he's also a good pass catcher.
And his ADP in PPR and regular half-point PPR, he's still high up there.
Yeah.
And I do believe that, Adrian Peterson for PPR leagues. He's always been kind of, knocked down a couple notches. But something that I saw in the Hall of Fame game was that Teddy Bridgewater didn't throw it to his main target. Like, it was always his second and third look, and he would dump it down to it wasn't Asiata that was playing that. I can't remember the other one. McKinnon.
Yeah, Jared McKinnon.
Yeah. He was, throwing check down passes. So that means that AP might get a little bit more love in the receiving game. So
well, they have Norv Turner as their offensive coordinator now, and every running back under him sees an increase in pass catches because that's how he uses a running back. So I think he sets a career high in receptions this
I could
year.
definitely see it because you always love those little safety passes, those little dump offs to your running back, tight ends, and stuff like that. Because they might not get you huge yards, but I mean AP is a hoss, man. He is hard to take down. So
Thank God he didn't play in that Hall of Fame game. I'd still be having nightmares.
I know, but are there any other fantasy relevant news you can think of before we jump into some sleepers?
Not really. So I think we can just jump right into our list we came up with here, sir.
All right. Who wants to go first?
You can go first.
All right. The first person on my list is Derek Carr, QB for the Oakland Raiders. He had a pretty good season last year. That was with a very mediocre receiving core.
Mm-hmm.
This year they get Latavius Murray, who's going to be their, number one running back, and they also drafted. Not saying this because I'm an Alabama fan, but they drafted one of the most physically dominant wide receivers that I've seen.
And also a great route runner.
Exactly. Like, he's a great all-around talent at the wide receiver position. So having that black hole that if anything's thrown in the vicinity of Amari Cooper, he will catch it. So I could definitely see yards and touchdowns increased dramatically this year for Derek Carr.
Yeah.
So, Oakland fans should be very happy about this.
Oh, yeah.
Past couple of years, Oakland hasn't had very much to be happy about. So this was a very good pickup for them, and I think Carr will have a great season.
Yeah. In the mock drafts I've seen, someone who has been going late and who I think should be like a 4th or 5th round pick is Joseph Randle from the Cowboys. DeMarco Murray set a career high in rushing.
Yeah.
And I think a lot of that had to do with the fact that they have the best offensive line in football.
Like, if you're going 3 yards before contact, you could put me behind that offensive line, and I can at least have a 1.5, maybe 2 yard, per carry average.
So I think Joseph Randle is going to be a steal.
The only thing he has to, I know he's very injury prone, but I guess you could say the number 2. I think they're going to be splitting it a lot with Run DMC. So
I'm honestly not too worried about Darren McFadden.
Like,
he's been too injury prone and
exactly. But I mean, in college he was a beast, and in the first couple of years at Oakland, he had a very, he
had a promising start until injury started to plague him.
But it was the offensive line that the Raiders had that was pretty much crap.
Yeah.
So coming to this, I think he'll have a probably, regenerate his career, get it going in the right track. But I do see Randall being the premier running back in the Cowboys.
Yeah. I'm if I get Joseph Randall in the 4th or 5th round, I'm happy.
Oh yeah, and I mean he should definitely be going higher than, what he's been going.
I've gotten him in like the 8th or 9th round before.
Yeah, and that would be a great keeper.
Yeah. Yeah, absolutely.
All right, I'll go with my second one. He just moved to a little town in Nolens, Mr. Spiller.
Oh, nice.
Yeah, like there's really not that many. Like, they've cleared house with running backs pretty much. I think the only one there that's relevant is Ingram still. So I think they'll be splitting the carries. But C.J. Spiller's a phenomenal running back. And I could see a resurgence in his career coming to New Orleans because they're more of a pass-heavy. But I do believe that this is the year where we start seeing a dive off in
Breeze.
Drew Brees' career. Like, I think, he's getting old.
Yeah.
So I think this is where we'll see him take a step back from where he's been. So I could see them relying a little bit more on the running game. So you have CJ and Ingram taking the bulk of the carries now. So
Yeah. That's actually a good segue into my next one, and that's Brandon Cooks.
there you go.
He was on track to be, I think, one of like the top 15 receivers before he got hurt last year. I think he'll emerge as the number one target with Jimmy Graham gone.
Yeah.
I think Marcus Colston's going to drop off a little bit as well.
Yeah.
He's still going to be reliable, but when it comes from a fantasy perspective, I think Brandon Cooks is a much more exciting player, and I think he's going to take a big step forward, and he's going to be the top target in that offense when it comes to throwing the ball.
Yeah, because I mean he's
got to throw it to somebody.
He does, and they lost Jimmy Graham, so he had how many? Close to 100 receptions each year that he's been in the league. So you got to have 100 receptions going from one person to everybody, and Cooks, he's a deep threat. He's a great route runner. He has great hands. So I could definitely see him, jumping out in front of everybody with getting more of those receptions.
Yeah. But who's your next one?
Well, we just talked about some Vikings, so we'll go back with Teddy Bridgewater. I think this is the year where he takes that sophomore. This is
Yeah.
second year.
Yeah, this will
Sophomore,
be a second
that
year.
sophomore leap. I think with his legs, because you saw him, he was smart with running because he had that 7-yard pickup right there, and he slid. So he's smart about keeping him safe. And then, they have some of the fastest receivers in the NFL playing for the Vikings. So that he has that to go on. And, of course, last year they went 7-9, and he had a pretty good year without Adrian Peterson. So now you get Adrian Peterson coming back. So that's going to help, take some of that pressure off of Teddy Bridgewater, because they're not going to be able to go out and cover these receivers. They're going to have to put some people in the box to stop AP.
Mm-hmm.
So I could see like a lot of, play action passes helping them out a lot. And like I said, with them having such fast wide receivers, it's hard to, keep up with them with the cornerbacks, linebackers, safeties, and all that stuff. So I could definitely see Teddy taking that next big step into greatness.
So what you're saying is it's Teddy time.
It's Teddy time.
Well, I have Teddy Bridgewater on my list as well, but going off of the receivers, I really like Charles Johnson this year because he came on late last year. I remember seeing him being a popular waiver wire pickup, and now with a full year in that offense, I think
didn't they sign him off of a practice squad or something?
Yeah, they did.
Yeah, like I think can't remember what team, but like he just came on so strong for them later in the year, and I'm excited to see what he's going to do this year.
Yeah, I think that whole receiving core is going to be good, but I think he's going to be the top guy. He's going to take that next step forward.
All right, we're going to switch it over and go to some Miami players. We got, I got two of them on my list, and I'm sure it's on Derek's as well. But we got Jarvis Landry, who is going to take a huge leap forward with Mike Wallace going to the
Vikings.
The Vikings. So, and that will also help Bridgewater out a little bit. I forgot to mention that. But anyway, Jarvis Landry is going to step up, and like Lamar Miller is going to have a great year, which means Ryan Tannehill will be a great quarterback to pick up because you can look at his stats starting from his rookie year to where he is now. Each year they've gotten slightly better, and slightly better. So now they have better all-around talent on that team, and Mike Wallace was kind of a hothead while he was there. So I could see, Landry, Miller, and Tannehill getting a big bump in production this year.
I'm with you on all of that. I've got Tannehill. I've got Landry. Landry, to a lot of other people, has been the other LSU receiver, the other being Odell Beckham Jr., because we all know like the really nice catches that he made last year. But
one-handed. But
Jarvis Landry's no slouch himself.
No, they're both great receivers in their own way.
And I think because Tannehill will take a step forward, Jarvis Landry will take a step forward.
Exactly.
I just don't know if I can trust Lamar Miller again because I was big on him 2 years ago, and that really didn't work out.
I think this is going to be the year that he takes, because he's taken itty bitty steps forward here and there, but I think he'll make that leap this year finally because they're more offensively sound than they have been in the past. So I could definitely see them pushing it and going further with it and being able to do a lot more with Lamar Miller.
Yeah, I think so too. And then another person we have on our list is Latavius Murray from Oakland.
And like you saw him come in strong in the last 4 games of the season when I picked him up, and oh my gosh, fell in love because he saved me from being last place last year. Place nobody wants to be in one of their fantasy leagues.
Yeah.
But just to see him run and how quick he was and how smart he was in those last 4 games, seeing that he has this entire season, this offseason to work with everybody, and knowing that he's going to be the number one, because Trent Richardson is the second running back, and I really don't see a competition there. Yeah, Trent's, decent, and I think he'll do. I hope he does well because I like him, but talent-wise, there's a gap. Latavius Murray is going to be the number one guy, and he catches. He's a great runner, so
yeah. No, I totally agree. Is there anything else you wanted to cover before we wrap this thing up?
Who do you think is going to be a surprise player this year? The one that everybody knows about, but is going to surprise everybody.
That's going to surprise everybody. I've been hearing good things about Doug Martin.
Okay.
In training camp, so we might see a resurgence of the muscle hamster. I know a lot of people are high on Charles Sims, but
yeah,
I think Doug Martin might have a nice resurgence. I don't know if he'll be as good as he was his rookie year, but
I could see him doing well. Mine, if he could stay off getting these injuries that he's always been prone to, Sam Bradford with the Eagles.
Yeah.
And all these QBs that have come into Chip Kelly's offense has done well. And, Sam Bradford was a decent quarterback, but he's been injured. And to be honest, St. Louis Rams did not have that great of a receiving core.
No.
They have a decent receiving core here in Philly. So I could see this being a comeback year. And, everyone wants to see Tebow do his thing, but I think Bradford's going to steal the show.
I could see that. Man, I hope he stays healthy. I like Sam Bradford.
Oh, yeah, he's a good guy.
Well, we do have an announcement for those that are in the Nerd Cave Network Fantasy Football League, and that is the draft is going to be held on Monday, August 31st at 7:30 p.m. Central Standard Time.
We figured we'd do it on a Monday because Monday is usually the dragging day. It's boring, and everybody hates Monday. But this, before you hit the bed at night, you'll have something great to do before you go to bed.
So if you haven't yet, for those that might be in the Nerd Cave Network Fantasy League, check your email for invites. And who knows, if we get a couple of more invites, we might extend the league to 12 teams.
We're at 10, but we will go to 12. If you want to play, just go like the Nerd Cave Network Facebook page and shoot one of us your email, Robbie Rawls, Derek Diamond, and we'll get you set up.
Absolutely.
But you can definitely find us on, YouTube or at Nerd Cave Network. We're on Facebook, Twitter, Twitch, Tumblr, Instagram, all that good stuff, all under Nerd Cave Network.
We make it so easy for people to remember. It's all under one name.
One name, one banner.
Yep, so check out all of our other videos on YouTube. Check out our podcast. Like, share, subscribe, comment. This has been Derek.
And Robbie.
Have a week.